Unlocking potential. How the Pareto, the 80-20 principle can transform your life and game. Discover the transformative power of the Pareto, the 80-20 principle, a framework that shows how focusing on the right 20% can yield 80% of your results. This blog will explore how adopting an 80% growth mindset and 20% discipline can enhance not just your work, but also your personal happiness and athletic performance. Table of contents. Understanding the Pareto, the 80-20 principle. The imbalance of effort and reward. Expectations of balance and fairness. Improving work processes with 80-20 thinking. Applying the 80-20 principle in business. Simplifying complexity in business operations. Versatile applications of the 80-20 principle. Shifting focus from time management to task management. Enhancing quality of life through 80-20 principle. Refocusing efforts for maximum impact. The importance of enjoyment in sports. Finding balance, 80% enjoyment, 20% discipline. FAQ, common questions about the Pareto principle. Understanding the Pareto, the 80-20 principle. The Pareto, the 80-20 principle is a powerful concept that reveals how a small portion of inputs often leads to the majority of outputs. This principle suggests that 80% of our results come from just 20% of our efforts. Understanding this imbalance can provide insights into how we approach various aspects of life, particularly for athletes who wish to maximize their performance. For athletes, embracing an 80% growth mindset and 20% discipline can lead to profound improvements in both enjoyment and performance. The majority of their time should be spent in a state of play, creativity, and exploration, much like children do when they engage in sports. This playful approach not only fosters joy but also enhances skill development. In practical terms, this means that athletes should prioritize the activities that bring them the most joy and satisfaction. The 20% of their training that focuses on essential skills, techniques, and routines should be balanced with 80% of their time spent enjoying the game. This mix allows for a healthy relationship with their sport, preventing burnout and maintaining motivation. The importance of a growth mindset. A growth mindset encourages athletes to embrace challenges and learn from failures. When athletes adopt this growth mindset, they are more likely to experiment with different techniques and strategies, which can lead to improved performance. The emphasis should be on the joy of learning and growing rather than solely on winning or achieving specific outcomes. By focusing 80% of their efforts on enjoying the process and 20% on disciplined training, athletes can cultivate a more sustainable approach to their sport. This balance allows them to remain engaged and enthusiastic, which is essential for long-term success. The imbalance of effort and reward. In sports, as in life, there's often an imbalance between the effort put in and the rewards reaped. Many athletes experience this firsthand. They may train hard and still not see the results they desire. This can be disheartening, leading to frustration and demotivation. Understanding the Pareto. The 80-20 principle helps athletes recognize that a small fraction of their efforts can yield the majority of their results. For instance, focusing on the most impactful training sessions or techniques can lead to significant improvements. Instead of spreading themselves thin across many activities, they should hone in on what truly matters. This principle encourages athletes to analyze their training and identify which 20% of their activities lead to 80% of their success. By doing so, they can eliminate unnecessary tasks and concentrate on what truly enhances their performance and enjoyment. Recognizing key performance drivers. Every athlete has specific skills or strategies that significantly influence their performance. Identifying these key drivers is essential. For example, a basketball player may find that shooting drills yield the best results in terms of scoring, while a runner might discover that sprint drills significantly improve their overall speed. By focusing their energy on these pivotal areas, athletes can maximize their performance while still allowing time for creativity and enjoyment. This approach not only leads to better results, but also fosters a love for the sport, which is crucial for maintaining motivation over time. Expectations of balance and fairness. Many individuals have an inherent expectation of balance and fairness in their efforts and rewards. However, the reality is that such balance is often an illusion. The world operates on imbalances, and recognizing this can liberate athletes from the pressure of needing to be perfect in every aspect of their training. For athletes, this means understanding that not every training session will yield equal results. Some days will be more productive than others, and that's perfectly fine. The key is to embrace the process and appreciate the small victories along the way. Athletes can better align with the Pareto, the 80-20 principle, by shifting their focus from fairness to personal growth. This mindset allows them to celebrate the small wins that contribute to their overall journey rather than getting discouraged by perceived imbalances. Embracing the unfairness in sports. In sports, it's common to see some athletes excel while others struggle despite putting in similar efforts. This perceived unfairness can be demotivating. However, embracing this reality can lead to a more fulfilling experience. Athletes should focus on their unique strengths and the aspects of their training that bring them joy. By accepting that not all training will yield the same results, athletes can cultivate resilience. This resilience allows them to push through tough days and remain committed to their long-term goals. It's about finding joy in the journey, regardless of the outcome. Improving work processes with 80-20 thinking. The 80-20 thinking framework can also be applied to improve training processes. Athletes can examine their routines and identify which elements contribute most to their performance. They can focus on high-impact activities that maximize results by streamlining their training. For instance, an athlete might find that specific warm-up exercises are more beneficial than others. By dedicating more time to these practical exercises, they can enhance their performance while reducing the time spent on less impactful activities. This approach not only boosts efficiency but also keeps training fresh and engaging. Athletes can experiment with various drills and techniques, creating a dynamic training environment that fosters creativity and enjoyment. Streamlining training routines. Streamlining training routines involves cutting out unnecessary tasks and focusing on what truly matters. Athletes should regularly assess their routines and eliminate activities that do not contribute to their success. This could mean reducing the number of drills they perform or reallocating time to areas where they see the most growth. By applying the Pareto, the 80-20 principle to their training, athletes can create a more effective and enjoyable experience. This not only leads to improved performance, but also helps maintain motivation and enthusiasm for the sport. Applying the 80-20 principle in business. The principles of the Pareto. The 80-20 principle are not limited to sports. They can also be applied in the business realm. Many businesses find that a small portion of their products or services generates most of their profits. By identifying these key offerings, companies can focus their resources more effectively. In the context of sports, this could relate to sponsorships, merchandise, or training programs that yield the highest returns. Athletes can leverage this principle by identifying which aspects of their brand or performance are most valued by fans and sponsors. For instance, athletes may find that their social media presence drives significant engagement, leading to sponsorship opportunities. Focusing on this area can enhance their overall brand and increase their marketability. Maximizing business opportunities. Identifying the 20% of business activities that generate 80% of the results allows athletes to maximize their opportunities. This could involve targeting specific markets, enhancing their online presence, or focusing on high-impact endorsements. By concentrating their efforts on these pivotal areas, athletes can significantly boost their career prospects. In conclusion, the Pareto, the 80-20 principle, offers valuable insights for both athletes and business professionals. By focusing on the most impactful areas of their training and brand, individuals can achieve tremendous success and fulfillment in their pursuits. Simplifying complexity in business operations. In the fast-paced world of business, complexity can often lead to inefficiency. The Pareto, the 80-20 principle, provides a roadmap for simplifying operations. By focusing on the 20% of tasks that drive 80% of results, companies can streamline their processes. For instance, businesses can evaluate their product lines and identify which offerings yield the highest profit margins. By concentrating on these key products, they can reduce costs associated with managing a broad inventory. This simplification allows teams to allocate resources more effectively, enhancing overall productivity. Moreover, simplifying operations can reduce the cognitive load on employees. When teams are not overwhelmed by numerous tasks, they can concentrate on delivering high-quality results. This clarity fosters a more engaged workforce, ultimately driving better performance. Identifying core business functions. To simplify operations, businesses must first identify their core functions. This involves analyzing which activities contribute most significantly to revenue and customer satisfaction. By focusing on these core areas, companies can eliminate redundant or low-impact tasks, conduct a thorough audit of current operations, identify top-performing products or services, streamline processes that do not contribute significantly to success. By implementing these steps, businesses can harness the power of the Pareto, the 80-20 principle, and foster a more efficient operational model. Versatile applications of the 80-20 principle. The versatility of the Pareto, the 80-20 principle, is one of its greatest strengths. It can be applied in various contexts, from personal relationships to professional settings. Understanding its broad applicability enables individuals and organizations to leverage its insights effectively. In personal relationships, for example, identifying the 20% of connections that provide 80% of emotional support can lead to more fulfilling interactions. By nurturing these key relationships, individuals can enhance their overall happiness and satisfaction. Do you want Ignacio Segovia to speak on this topic at your next event? Ignacio Segovia can share a variety of captivating topics with the participants of your event. Click me, implementing 80-20 thinking in daily life. To effectively apply the Pareto, the 80-20 principle in daily life, individuals should shift their mindset. Instead of viewing all tasks as equally important, they should evaluate which activities contribute most to their goals. This shift in thinking can lead to more strategic decision-making. Assess daily tasks and identify high-impact activities. Allocate time and resources to these key tasks. Regularly review and adjust focus as needed. By adopting this approach, individuals can maximize their productivity and enhance their quality of life, shifting focus from time management to task management. Traditional time management strategies often encourage individuals to cram more tasks into their schedules. However, this approach can lead to overwhelm and burnout. Instead, shifting the focus to task management allows for a more sustainable and effective strategy. By identifying the 20% of tasks that generate 80% of results, individuals can prioritize their efforts. This not only improves efficiency, but also enhances job satisfaction as people engage in meaningful work rather than merely checking off items on a to-do list. In practice, this means reevaluating one's daily agenda to focus on high-impact activities. It may involve delegating less critical tasks or eliminating them altogether. This intentional approach to task management allows for greater clarity and effectiveness in achieving goals. Creating a task management system. To implement effective task management, individuals can create a system that prioritizes high-impact activities. Here are some steps to establish such a system. List all tasks and categorize them based on their impact. Identify the top 20% of tasks that deliver the most significant results. Schedule dedicated time for these high-priority tasks. By following these steps, individuals can cultivate a productive work environment that aligns with the Pareto, the 80-20 principle, enhancing quality of life through 80-20 principle. Applying the Pareto, the 80-20 principle can significantly enhance one's quality of life. By identifying the activities and relationships that bring the most joy, individuals can focus their energy on what truly matters. This intentional approach leads to greater happiness and fulfillment. For example, evaluating how time is spent can reveal that a small number of activities contribute most to overall happiness. By prioritizing these activities, individuals can cultivate a more satisfying and balanced life. Moreover, reducing time spent on low-impact activities frees up mental and emotional resources. This allows for deeper engagement with the people and experiences that bring joy. In essence, the Pareto the 80-20 principle acts as a guide to living a more intentional and fulfilling life. Practical steps to enhance life quality. To leverage the Pareto the 80-20 principle for improving quality of life, consider the following steps. Identify the 20% of activities that bring the most joy. Reduce time spent on activities that contribute little to happiness. Invest in relationships that provide emotional support and fulfillment. By implementing these practical steps, individuals can transform their lives, focusing on what truly enhances their quality of living. This mindful approach fosters a deeper connection to oneself and the world around, refocusing efforts for maximum impact. To truly harness the power of the Pareto leading the 80-20 principle, athletes need to refocus their training efforts. Instead of spreading themselves thin across numerous activities, they should identify which 20% of their training yields 80% of their results. This requires a deep understanding of personal strengths and weaknesses. By analyzing performance data, athletes can pinpoint the specific drills or techniques that significantly enhance their skills. Once identified, these key areas should receive the majority of their attention. Refocusing efforts also means letting go of activities that provide minimal returns. This doesn't mean abandoning variety in training, but rather prioritizing what truly matters. The goal is to streamline training processes, allowing for more time spent on high-impact activities. Strategies for effective refocusing. Here are some strategies athletes can use to refocus their training efforts. Assess performance data to identify high-impact skills. Eliminate low-impact drills from training routines. Dedicate more time to practicing key techniques. Regularly review and adjust focus based on performance feedback. By implementing these strategies, athletes can maximize their training impact and experience greater satisfaction in their sport. The importance of enjoyment in sports. At the core of athletic performance lies the fundamental need for enjoyment. The joy of playing is crucial for long-term engagement and success in any sport. When athletes find joy in their activities, they are more likely to push through challenges and remain committed to their development. Emphasizing enjoyment can transform the way athletes approach their training. Rather than viewing practice as a chore, it becomes an opportunity for exploration and creativity. This shift in mindset fosters a love for the game, which is essential for maintaining motivation. Moreover, enjoyment leads to better performance. When athletes are happy, they are more likely to enter a state of flow, the zone, where their skills and creativity flourish. This state not only enhances performance, but also contributes to overall well-being. Creating a joyful training environment. To cultivate a joyful training environment, athletes can consider the following. Incorporate fun drills and games into practice sessions. Encourage camaraderie among teammates to foster a supportive atmosphere. Set personal goals that focus on enjoyment rather than solely on performance metrics. Regularly engage in activities that reignite passion for the sport. By prioritizing enjoyment, athletes can create a positive feedback loop that enhances both their experience and performance. Finding balance, 80% enjoyment, 20% discipline. Finding a balance between enjoyment and discipline is vital for athletes. The proposal is for athletes to focus on an 80% growing mindset, and a 20% set mind suggests that 80% of an athlete's time should be spent enjoying their sport, while 20% should be dedicated to disciplined training and routines. This balance allows athletes to maintain their passion for the game, while also ensuring they develop the necessary skills to succeed. The discipline comes in the form of non-negotiables, activities that are essential for improvement. For example, an athlete might dedicate time to strength training or skill development while allowing creative play during practice. This combination not only enhances performance, but also keeps the training process enjoyable. Establishing non-negotiables. To establish a healthy balance, athletes can identify their non-negotiables, which may include regular strength and conditioning sessions, skill-specific practice focused on improvement, consistent recovery practices to prevent burnout, setting aside time for reflection and goal setting. By integrating these non-negotiables into their routines, athletes can ensure they are still making progress while enjoying their journey. Important points: unlocking potential, the little a lot approach to impact and repetition. The Pareto principle, commonly known as the 80-20 rule, highlights a simple yet powerful truth. A small portion of effort or input often leads to the majority of results. Applied thoughtfully, this principle encourages focusing on what truly matters and repeating those impactful actions to achieve transformative outcomes. However, there's an even more profound idea embedded in this framework: the concept of little a lot. By identifying the small, consistent actions that have the greatest potential for impact and repeating them frequently, we unlock the power of compounding effects. This strategy is especially relevant in sports, personal development, and any area where sustained effort over time is key. The core idea: little actions repeated often. The little a lot concept focuses on finding the few small actions that deliver the most value and committing to repeating them. It's not about working harder, but working smarter by identifying leverage points in your life or routine. For instance, for athletes, a simple drill that sharpens fundamental skills. For professionals, a key habit like prioritizing tasks the night before. For relationships, small but meaningful gestures like a daily check-in or compliment. By recognizing these high-impact activities, we maximize results without unnecessary effort. Why repetition matters. Repetition is the engine that drives progress. Mastery, whether in sports, work, or personal growth, comes from practicing the right actions consistently. These repeated efforts create habits, reinforce neural pathways, and yield cumulative results that far exceed the initial effort. Consider an athlete practicing their jump shot. Spending a few minutes daily refining technique will result in more noticeable improvement than sporadic high-intensity training sessions. The repetition ensures the skill becomes automatic, efficient, and reliable under pressure. Identifying high-impact activities. The key to implementing the little a lot principle lies in understanding which small actions produce the greatest returns. The Pareto principle guides us to find the vital 20% of efforts that lead to 80% of outcomes. Here's how to identify these actions. Analyze results, review past efforts, and pinpoint the activities that yielded the most significant outcomes. For example, a tennis player might realize that practicing their serve is the single most effective way to win points. Experiment and reflect. Try different approaches, track progress, and determine which actions are most effective over time. Focus on fundamentals. In most fields, success is built on core principles. Identify these foundational elements and dedicate consistent effort to them, applying little a lot in life. One in sports. Athletes often strive for perfection, but spreading effort across too many activities can lead to burnout. Instead, they should hone in on the drills, techniques, or exercises that yield the greatest improvement. By repeating these regularly, alongside incorporating moments of joy and creativity, athletes can see remarkable progress without losing their passion for the game. 2. In personal development. Progress in life is about identifying what truly moves the needle. Whether it's reading 10 pages of a book each day, practicing gratitude, or dedicating 5 minutes to mindfulness, these small, consistent actions have the potential to transform one's mindset and habits. 3. In relationships. The quality of relationships often hinges on small, repeated acts of care. A text, a kind word, or showing genuine interest can strengthen bonds over time. Focus on the small gestures that nurture connection and make them a regular part of your routine. The role of discipline. The beauty of the little a lot method is that it doesn't require monumental effort. However, it does require discipline to ensure consistency. Committing to small actions every day builds momentum, making the process sustainable and even enjoyable. Discipline is not about rigidity. It's about prioritizing what matters most and showing up for it consistently. By pairing discipline with joy, we create a feedback loop where positive results reinforce our desire to continue. Enjoying the journey. While repetition and impact are central, the importance of enjoyment cannot be overstated. The 80-20 framework suggests that 80% of our time should be spent enjoying the process, with only 20% dedicated to rigorous discipline. This balance ensures sustained motivation and prevents burnout. In sports, this might mean focusing on creative drills or games that reignite passion, alongside disciplined practice sessions. In personal life, it could mean celebrating small wins while continuing to strive toward meaningful goals, unlocking your potential. The little a lot approach is a transformative mindset that empowers us to focus on what truly matters. By identifying the small actions that create the most significant impact and committing to them with consistency, we can achieve remarkable results in all areas of life. This philosophy reminds us that greatness isn't built in grand gestures, but in the accumulation of small, intentional actions repeated over time. Embrace this mindset and you'll unlock a new level of growth, fulfillment, and potential. FAQ, common questions about the Pareto principle. As athletes and individuals seek to apply the Pareto, the 80-20 principle to their lives, several common questions arise. Here are answers to some of these frequently asked questions. What is the Pareto, the 80-20 principle? The Pareto, the 80-20 principle, states that roughly 80% of outcomes result from 20% of causes. In sports, this means that a small portion of training activities can yield the majority of performance improvements. How can I apply it to my training? Start by identifying which drills or techniques lead to the most significant improvements in your performance. Focus your efforts on these key areas while allowing time for enjoyment and exploration in your sport. Can this principle apply to other areas of my life? Absolutely. The 80-20 principle can be applied to various aspects of life, including work, relationships, and personal development. Identifying the most impactful areas allows for a more fulfilling and efficient approach to life. How do I maintain balance between enjoyment and discipline? Establish clear non-negotiables for your training while prioritizing enjoyable activities. This balance will help you stay motivated and engaged while also ensuring you are making progress in your sport. Is it okay to take breaks from training? Yes, taking breaks is crucial for recovery and maintaining long-term motivation. Use this time to recharge and reflect on your goals, ensuring you return to training refreshed and ready to enjoy the process.